Hello, Dave. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. I am the Bro 9000 or even the Cord 9000, and I trust you are all functioning very well today. Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Brown, and welcome to the show, a last-minute show. Possibly some good news in the offing. Could it be the end of woke is nigh in Hollywood? Ooh, I hope so. Lots of big news dropping today. So, shall we start as we mean to go on then? I think we should. Let's get the bodies out. Here we go. We see the good inside our first guest. He's the poshest boy on YouTube. It is Darth Sith Lord Jord.
Evening, how are you doing?
Hello there.
Hello there. Oh no, because
Yeah,
now
no.
we have to say that in a much camper way now, don't we? So I have to be like, "Oh, hello there."
Hi. Hello there. Hello, chat. Everybody well in the chat? Hello, I can chat. I can see you. Bonjour. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Are you well?
I'm fine, thank you. I absolutely hate campness, so I'm going to not do that anymore. I'm all good, thank you.
Are you feeling very manly today?
No, I don't think that's ever been a thing, but I'm feeling my usual sort of level of testosterone and testicles, so, you know, average.
Shall we say hello to MC? Hello, MC.
Hello, MC.
Hello, Dermot. You all right, Dermot? You all right?
You just sound like a Scouse woman now. That's just not a thing.
God, insult me, Jesus. Are you well anyway? Yes,
I am
well.
good, thank you. I'm very good.
Channel. I'm assuming the channel's doing offensively brilliant.
Yeah, Thor video is creeping up to 500,000 views, and we are
off
a couple of hundred short of 20,000 subs, so it's going pretty nicely.
You know what, mate? I'm genuinely pleased for you. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
You know what my next question is.
Shall we get the next guest out?
I think we should. Set your Jedi power wands to stunning and brave. It's not Brian Young.
Hello there.
Hello there.
How the devil are we?
Your voice is far posher than even posh boys.
Oh, lovely.
I'm going to have
a tad fruity this evening, too.
Not manly.
No, not too manly. How's things then?
Not bad. Are you good, my friend? Are you good?
I'm okay, raring to go. Bit knackered tonight, but a couple of iron brews and I'll be firing right through this.
I'm assuming not the original recipe.
You assume correctly.
Okay. You know what my next question is.
Yes. Shall we get the next guest out?
Next, it's the golden reach around droid of choice. You know it is, don't you? It is Z3PO.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all this evening?
Feeling manly. What about you?
Oh, I'm feeling very manly. That man is Uncle Owen.
And how is Uncle? Is he okay?
Oh, yes, very firm and supple and masterful when he needs to be.
But
Aunt Beru really wears the trousers.
They all do nowadays, mate. 3PO, MC 3PO.
Hello, MC in the chat. I like MC too. He gets a free reach around because he's a mod.
I think everybody's a mod in the chat, so you're going to be busy.
Ooh. Form an orderly line, gents.
So you're well, my friend, yes?
I am indeed, and eager to discuss the
happenings.
the happenings which have happened over the last few happenings.
Oh, yes, all very hot
But
news.
I think to do that, sir, we're going to need another guest.
And last, but by no means least, he will be getting very annoyed waiting. He is the wise elder of the channel, the writer, portal, director, and the paid-up member of the Selfridges Appreciation Society. It is Ian David Diaz. We call him the Mega Geek.
Hello, sorry. Do you know that they got outtakes of Nobody, the film? I was just watching some of them. Not outtakes, but stuff they didn't put in the movie. Loads of new bits. Yeah, it is actually. I was just watching them, and they kind of enhance the story a little, which is quite interesting. More of a Michael Ironside in it as well, which they cut out of the original. Anyway, I'm okay. Thank you.
I'll just say to everybody in the chat, check out Nobody, Bob Odenkirk, same universe as John Wick. Very good stuff.
It is good. It's a good film.
So you well, Ian?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right.
Right. I think we'll just get on with it and just see how we get on. So midweek musings, can you believe it?
Midweek.
Although technically I suppose tomorrow is midweek. Free eye test, everybody. Please like, share, subscribe. I thought we'd do some Top Gun news. I don't think we did any on Sunday. So I was feeling a little bit withdrawal of Top Gun news. 1.3 billion, folks. And still climbing.
Wow, it's amazing.
1.3 billion. Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
There might be two of us in this entire program who actually get that reference, but very good.
I got that reference. It's amazing, though. Absolutely amazing. Well done, Mr. Cruise.
10 weeks, 11th week, still making piles of money in the US.
Well, they got nothing. They got no competition, have they? I mean, look what's underneath it. Doctor Strange. What's the other one? Jurassic World. You know, that's not much competition.
I think
really.
Thor: Love and Blunder was number 6,
and the Batman, which was absolute nonsense. So
the Minions is out. Oh, dear,
I love the Minions. Loved it. I watched it.
The kids really into the Minions. Yeah, every time you watch it, you know it's something different. And I've managed to miss it. Well done.
Going formal wear.
God.
On lots of big news happening this evening, and on a certain nerdrotic channel, Tom Cruise was mentioned. And I don't know if they've just realised what we've realised all along, how irrespective, as we always say, whatever you think of Tom Cruise, is a professional, and he knows he answers to his customers. And they basically said that this evening.
I did rewatch that old interview he did, though, where he was going on about how most modern psychology and antidepressant pills are a load of shit. And actually, that was really quite good. So he's not entirely irredeemable in other respects either. It's just a shame he's a Scientologist, really, because otherwise he'd be pretty much like you couldn't object to anything.
For the uninitiated, what is Scientology, Ben?
Scientology was created, I think, in the 1960s by L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction writer, who had a bet with Robert Heinlein of Stranger in a Strange Land, Starship Troopers. At least this is the story. He had a bet with Heinlein over who could be the first of them to found a religion that people took seriously. And Heinlein actually won that bet because the Martian church in Stranger in a Strange Land does exist and has existed for longer, but very few people read that book. So Scientology took off. Scientology was much more consciously a scam, and automatically that makes it much more successful in the American religious landscape because all major religions in America are based on the idea of scam and money laundering. And so Scientology basically believes in like this volcano monster who comes from outer space, and there's thetans, and you have to pay to get your thetans tested, and as you pay more, you go up the levels. And if you get to the top level of Scientology, you get access to the inner truth that only they and the creators of South Park know. You get to go on a special cruise ship, which Tom Cruise is allowed to go on. but he fell out with one of his ex-wives because he was taking his kid on the cruise ship, and it turned out the cruise ship was infested with, is it black mold or blue mold, the really heavily cancerous one.
Oh dear.
And because it's Scientology and it's sort of exempt from most things because it's a religion, they were just allowed to operate this cruise line for top tier Scientologists, and his wife didn't like that he was taking the kid on there. But so it's a really complicated, utterly mad belief system, and very entertaining to watch, unless you try and escape from the church, in which case they will track you down and try and kill you.
Was that something to do with, was it Battlefield Earth, that film? That was Scientology as well, wasn't it? You know, John Travolta.
Yeah, I think it might have been, actually.
The worst film ever made, apparently.
Travolta is a Scientologist, but I don't think I've seen that film.
What, a worse film than Ishtar? Are you sure?
Yeah, but Travolta's bald now, isn't he? Completely. Well, he was always bald, actually. He was wearing a wig.
Yeah, but he's embraced it now, and he looks pretty good, doesn't he?
He has embraced it, yeah.
Definitely. Has everybody seen Top Gun? Who hasn't seen it?
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. We're all agreed that it's a good movie, yes?
It's my favourite movie of the year so far, with Spider-Man No Way Home just behind it.
My favourite movie is Spider-Man No Way Home so far, which Top Gun comes second, I guess, to it, in my opinion. I enjoyed it more.
Hello, Melvin. Tom Cruise, even crazy but not stupid. And then he says, maybe he actually is the chosen one.
Well, the great thing about Scientology is if you pay enough, you will be the chosen one. So it's kind of like you can buy your way to the top of that. It's just no one has more money than Tom Cruise in the church. So he is.
Well, he's made $100 million off this and counting. Not Brian. He is the chosen one. You must see it.
I'm saying nothing about Scientology until I get a better lawyer.
Do we think this is going to make $2 billion? What do you think?
No, I think it's a bit early for that.
1.5 tops before it goes off, I reckon.
Yeah. Do you reckon? Do you reckon there's about another month to go? I reckon it could maybe squeeze another month out.
I think so. Summer season still riding high. I think I'm with Z. I think it's 1.5.
Yeah, it's really touched a nerve even with the American audience, as Ian knows when he was in Dallas.
Yeah. Americans are crazy over that film. There you go.
Because didn't somebody come up to you and say, what do you think about that film? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some old geezer. Yeah, when I was waiting to go to the loo, he came up to me and said, what do you think of the film? Was fucking awesome, wasn't it, mate? You know, blah, blah, blah. And he kept going on about it. I was like, that's when I realized, well, I did realize that Americans were very much patriotic about their country, but I mean, that kind of pushed it home, really. The guy didn't even know me. I didn't know him. He just went on about the film. 15 minutes. There you go.
Let's go to war, son. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Right, okay. As I said, if you've not seen it, guys, as I said, even if you don't like Tom Cruise, it is a very nice piece of entertainment. Big screen. Just forget about the shite that's going on for 2 hours. Is genuinely...
Who's the girl in it again? The girl, the love interest. Who's it?
She was
Jennifer.
Jennifer
Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly. She said that she was really nervous because, at the end of the film, he takes her into that plane and he flies, stuff like that. He tried to convince her to do that scene because that wasn't in the script. So she was really nervous when she got in there because she didn't know, whether he was a good flyer or anything like that. And she did it anyway. So there you go.
He wanted to fly the US Navy jets, and the US Navy said, fuck off.
Yeah.
Mile High Club.
This is not Oprah's couch. Beat it.
We will give the last word to Matt I, or is it Matt 1? America is awesome. America, America. Fuck yeah.
America.
Anyway, okay. So, here we go. Who would give this? Who would have the most pleasure just explaining what this shite is?
Well, none of us are qualified, and the only person that's qualified is the Lord. So there you go.
Well, yeah, but he's qualified in everything, isn't he?
Oh, stop it.
Brian has interacted with the author on this, so
yeah. Go on,
Brian.
Brian. Spill your beans. Go on. Spill your guts. What's been happening with this?
I'll say that the thing is, Lost Chord can get away with it because of his own personal circumstances. Where if I say I'm just
right, okay, you're in Scotland.
Well, of course, I could have the stormtroopers of the SNP coming through the door. Should I say the wrong word? So
I think I can hand out some kind of form that gives you permission to do it using my protected characteristics. So,
like an N-word pass.
Yeah.
It is very stupid, isn't it? What's sexuality got to do with any of the characters in any kind of genre at all? I just, unless it's about that, which none of these shows from Disney or Star Wars, or Marvel is about. It was never ever about sexuality at all.
No,
I think Andy says the same thing. Hello, Andy. Oh fuck me, no, please no. Yes.
No, I haven't seen the show, but according to Lost Chord, it's rubbish, and according to everybody I know, it's rubbish. But it's only the people that kind of need this stuff. They say, "Oh, it's okay," but they know in their hearts it was rubbish anyway. But they don't want to say it because
this is probably the only thing that could make it worse.
Yeah. I mean, what does this guy want? Does he want Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn to do like Brokeback Tatooine?
I can't quit you.
Yeah,
well, it's a Disney show, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it's Obi-Wan and Luke, is it? But maybe
young Luke,
a step too far.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that would be, that would be young Luke.
Yeah. So I did actually
Moving
read
on.
this because I have a second channel that I'm going to kick off. At the moment, it's just me warbling music, but I figured it would be fun to do the occasional sort of non-scripted response to crap like this when it comes out, because it's quick and easy to do.
Can we come on,
that
please?
You can. Why not? That second channel is just Lost Chord for anyone interested. But so I actually
Lord, everybody, Lord Chord.
Yeah, I went and well, because that won't turn up on YouTube, so it actually is Lost Chord. So I read this anyway, and so what this guy wants is, as is usually the case with people of his persuasion, and I don't mean the gay thing, I mean the sort of the self-obsessed left thing. What he wants is to see his own personal life story played out in the form of Obi-Wan Kenobi's character. So if you read the piece, he says he grew up in a stultified religious upbringing, and this sort of perverted his sense of what is normal and what is not when it comes to sexuality. And so he was persuaded to deny an important aspect of himself, which is that he's not entirely straight. He's not gay either, I don't think, but he's not straight. And he saw parallels between his own upbringing in the Christian, I think, Midwest, and the strictures of the Jedi Order in Star Wars. And what he thought this would be a fantastic opportunity to do is for Obi-Wan Kenobi to go through exactly the same process of self-discovery against an oppressive upbringing as he himself went through. Because what Star Wars hasn't done so far with the Jedi is portray them as a restrictive, moral-bound order which stultifies the upbringing of young people and forces them to go wrong. That's never happened in Star Wars before. So what we need to have is that, but with the gay. And so Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think the author who's writing this has said that it's not going to be too much in terms of detail, but there are random scenes where like someone tries to kiss him and then he says, do I want to kiss this person? Do I want to kiss all of these people? Do I want to kiss none of these people? And in the end, he chooses the Jedi way over everybody else. But the author of this piece just wants to see him go full bi and explore the peculiarities of bisexual upbringing in the American South.
Why?
Good question. Why?
What
James, is it James Troughton, the guy who published it? James Troughton.
Yes. Who's been a bit of a dick on Twitter. Well, I think the really interesting thing is that you could do this and it would accomplish nothing, but it would accomplish nothing not just in the sense of we don't need to know this about Obi-Wan, but his whole shtick is portraying the Jedi as being too strict and too moral bound, and forcing Obi-Wan to adopt positions that aren't natural to him. But we had all of this. We had it with Anakin Skywalker, and in a universalist way that doesn't force sexual politics on people. Anakin Skywalker is essentially let down by the Jedi because the Jedi are too strict for him, and he has to chart his own way, and he becomes a genocidal space maniac. But the exact same thing happens. So even if you did do all of this, and even if you did it really sensitively and well, which they wouldn't do, it still doesn't accomplish anything that Anakin's story didn't in a better way.
What I don't understand is that, okay, this guy wants this, and it's obvious that a lot of people that are in charge of Hollywood wants it. So why the fuck don't they create something original to put it in? Why are they destroying the stuff that we like with this absolute garbage, as the Americans would say? That's the big question, right?
Yeah, because it's a cheat sheet, and obviously having to create new people is difficult. But I think it would be great to have more of that kind of representation in Star Wars if you do it well, but you do it with new characters and you don't make it the entire point of their story. And what you definitely don't do is go and appropriate established characters in order to play out the life fantasies of obscure games journalists. That's just not what you do. Also, I mean, Z knows the law better than I do. Doesn't Obi-Wan have a fairly firmly established semi-romantic relationship with someone in, is it the Clone Wars?
It is in the Clone Wars. He's there's an alluded relationship between him and Duchess Satine, who's the ruler of Mandalore at the time before Darth Maul kills her. No, she's nice. But and also there's a lot of people who think that one of the characters in it is actually Obi-Wan's son, Corky Kryze, who's related to Bo-Katan, which I thought, yeah, that would actually work in the context of the show, and would be interesting if he had a secret son, and perhaps it would have made sense if Rey was actually his granddaughter.
And immediately we've just written a better show.
Why are we having sexual crap in Star Wars? Why?
Kathleen Kennedy?
It makes no sense. None of this makes any sense, right? And I just totally disagree. They should not be attaching their stupid fantasies to beloved genres that people have loved for X amount of years and destroying it. They shouldn't. And if they were worth their salt, they would create new characters to inhabit what they want. But then they're not doing that, though. There's nothing wrong with gay characters in TV shows and stuff like that, as long as they're new and they've been created from the ground up. Do you know what I mean? But taking something that's been established and sticking all this shit in it, you're only going to piss off the fans, and people are going to abandon it. Then you're going to lose money.
You are. And the other important thing is that if you are going to do that, A, do it with new characters, as you say, but B, don't make it the whole point of the story.
Exactly.
If that's the only thing you've got to add, then the story doesn't need to be told. I mean, Star Wars has done this. It doesn't do sexuality per se, but it does sort of imply sexuality. Well, no, but I mean, in the way that you sort of Han and Leia hook up, so you could say that is loosely implied sexuality about the story. But the important thing isn't what they think about gender, what they think about sexuality. It's just a love story that adds depth to the character. That's what you do. But you have a story that they tell, and that's the thing which makes those characters worthwhile, not the sort of the color stuff or the depth stuff that they add to them. The other thing I couldn't work out about this is the image there, which I think is currently hidden behind us. They've put a tint filter over that, and I'm trying to figure out if that's the trans flag or if they've just gone French, and I can't decide which.
Who cares? Seriously, who really cares?
No, I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi has spent the last 45 years since his creation
dreaming of cock.
Yeah. I fail to understand how, on any level, this is a good idea.
I don't care.
There is one positive, though.
No, there isn't. What is it?
Is it HIV?
Is it monkeypox?
No. It's terrible.
Up until Disney took over Star Wars, if Obi had put a lightsaber up his bum, he would have died.
Yeah, no one does.
Whereas now, if they were to do this show and he was to stick a lightsaber up anybody's bum, they would survive. So that's a plus point.
Oh dear.
Brian, you're unnaturally quiet. Anything to add? I know you're in Scotland. You may be there may be a knock at the door.
Yes, I'm just looking about. Little Nicola's around.
Whispering.
But I think it's important that we get to see ourselves in movies, which is why I wasn't interested in Star Wars until Han Solo was confronted by a Glaswegian with fetal alcohol syndrome in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Well, I tweeted this guy against my better judgment. I just think this whole thing is ridiculous. no need for it whatsoever.
Yeah,
I don't mind actually if they have gay characters in Star Wars. I just don't think it seems to add much to the plot and what's going on. But to take an established character and do this to it when it was made, or Obi-Wan Kenobi was made at a time when it was heteronormative, is farcical, to be quite honest. Especially, I don't really get into the Clone Wars, but there's already, apparently, as Z was saying, it's established that he's had relationships in the past, which I wasn't too happy with that in general, because I don't think it needs it, to be honest. But why they're doing this, well, I know why they're doing it, but it's farcical.
You can read subtext into. You always forget these guys' names. It's Baze and the other guy in Rogue One,
and
it's purely optional to do that. It's the two. Are they Chinese? I think they're Chinese.
Phil McCavity.
It's purely optional to do that, though. You can read that as this really close old friendship, or you can read it as sort of as close as they can get to something else. But the fact it's optional makes it better, because you're not forcing anything down anybody's throat, or you're not making sexuality the point of their character.
Yep.
It just adds depth to their friendship, and it kind of works really well. But this guy, Troughton, is it?
Troughton.
I think Brian, you might have shared one of these tweets that he put out, saying something like
James Troughton.
What was he said? Something like, whenever you bring up queerness into their franchise, they get so offended. It's like, or whatever, which I just thought was interesting framing, because he puts himself outside the franchise, trying to invade the franchise and change it from outside, sort of by tacitly admitting that the people he's offending are the people to whom the franchise really belongs. It's their franchise that's being offended by our imposition of sexual politics, which sort of just kind of reveals something, I think, a little bit at least, about the mindset of the people who do this. And then he also had that other tweet saying that something like Luke Skywalker takes 3 films to become interesting, and Rey does it in 5 minutes, which I think tells you all you need to know about his judgment.
Is he just attention seeking?
Quite possibly. Most of these people just live online.
Should we just say to him, get a life?
Get a boyfriend.
A lot of these things can be clickbait.
Hello, PJ. Wee Jimmy Cranky will get you, Brian.
Wee Jimmy Cranky was minimised something terrible by Liz Truss the other day.
Andy Mouse.
So sad. That was very funny.
No relation of Patrick, I hope.
When you left, I was but the bottom. Now I am the top. So is it not just a little bit weird now that he watches kids from rocks?
Yep, through binoculars.
They really have spoilt the whole aspect of
everything.
Obi-Wan, haven't they, with this TV show? They really
Everything
have.
that Disney touches turns to shit.
Well, I mean, from their point of view, the stuff is still making money, and that's why they make so much. Because if one doesn't make, they never not make any money. They make money, but not enough to, I guess, to call it a success. But the other film comes out straight after that, and that's kind of supplements what they've lost. So they're just kind of churning it out, aren't they? Really,
they are, and that comes up with a question of budget and how much they're spending, and whether it's actually enough in the long run to do lots of average shows as opposed to making them successful. I did read something earlier about Obi-Wan's viewing figures, because obviously when it first came out, they were saying, "Oh, it's the most watched thing on Disney Plus ever," but actually, the finale episode a week after it aired was only slightly above the finale for the Book of Boba Fett, which was not encouraging.
Geez.
Way below Mandalorian season 2. It was behind random crap that you wouldn't even have heard of. So it's not got staying power.
Andy in the chats, my folks liked it.
Well, a lot of people liked it because they don't know any better.
Yeah,
that's why.
I don't think McGregor would have too much problem. Sorry,
no, go for it. Go for it.
I don't think McGregor would have too much problem.
McGregor did it for the money. All the actors that are involved in all this woke stuff, they do it for the money, right? I mean, Anthony Mackie's a brilliant actor. I've seen him in other stuff, other than the Marvel stuff. He's a brilliant actor. It's so obvious that he's keeping his mouth shut and he just doesn't care. He's doing it for the money. And it's the same thing with well, I don't know about this guy, Mr. Obi-Wan. I'm not sure, because he seems really together with all this stuff, doesn't he? Some of the stuff he said on like on Twitter and stuff like that. There's that shot where he's in his car and he's talking about how racist people have been towards what's her face, and in the show. I don't even know what her name is. I never watched it. Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know whether he's fully on their side or he's just doing it because he needs the money. I really don't know.
No, it's sold out.
Yeah.
He spent enough time living in California. I think he'd be in line with a lot of these people. And his kind of line of work he has to be, doesn't he? I do remember him doing a gay kiss back in the day. Can you remember who it was he gay kiss with? You don't get this.
I can't remember. Did he do a gay kiss?
Yes, he did. Someone who played a superhero.
Don't know.
Christian Bale in Velvet Goldmine with Eddie Izzard.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've seen it.
Stream killer.
Totally killed. Okay, so Obi-Wan. So
I'm just stunned they're even talking about a season 2.
But you don't realize how much that advertises. I mean, look, I happen to listen to Magic every morning because they play music that I understand. But every moment they're advertising a Disney Channel on that channel on the radio, every moment. So it's crazy, isn't it? They are really belting it out there via advertisement, radio, TV.
Saturate the market strategy.
Yeah.
Doctor Who going to Disney Plus as well when the new.
Well, that's a rumor. That's not. Nobody knows.
Melvin Deeply here's a first. Agree with Mega Geek there. Anthony Mackie seems sharp enough to know what's what. He does.
But you can tell that Anthony Mackie disagrees with everything because remember that interview they had with him, the guy who plays Thor and Miss Marvel, Miss Marvel,
Brie Larson,
and she was saying all that crap, and you can see Helmsworth and him just going, "What the fuck is she talking about?" in that interview. He's against
Don Cheadle as well.
Yeah, he's against
his face up. Yeah.
But obviously he doesn't want to rock the boat, does he? Really, let's face it. So,
well, if you do, you get recast.
Yeah, I guess.
So, moving on from the stupidness of Obi-Wan, this was the main news this evening. Batgirl movie gone, shelved, not even going to be.
Does it go into any detail about why it was shelved and who made the decision?
I'm betting it was David Zaslav who's just taken over. I'm pretty sure he's got the axe out for any projects that won't turn a massive profit.
But it's so obvious what they need to do. They need to bring back Henry Cavill and make him back as Superman, and they'll make a shitload of money. That's all they need to do. It's not rocket science, is it?
Bring back Ben Affleck and do a world's finest movie.
Yeah, or something like that. Just bring them back. I mean, they want money. I mean, I like The Rock, but I'm not going to watch the Black Adam nonsense. It looks like rubbish. It really does. I'm not going to watch it. I'll wait till it comes on streaming or something. But if Henry Cavill was playing Superman and they had another Superman movie, and then we're going to do it right, I'll be right there. I love Henry, and I think he got the short change.
He has 10 years old, Man of Steel. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
In the chat, Matai, or is it Matt One? I can't believe they would waste so much money. It says 70 million, but apparently it's more like 100 million.
Then you've got to have the advertising costs and distribution to cinemas or whatever.
It apparently was going to go on to HBO as well.
I think they were considering theatrical, and then it was sort of a toss-up between HBO Max and a theatrical release. But yeah, I've seen price estimates between 70 and 90 million.
Melvin asks, who's the girl in the picture? So who's the boy in the picture?
Is it a boy?
No.
Is it
I
trans?
don't think so.
No.
It was trans. That's why he said boy. Sorry, I'm confused.
It sounds to be perfect when it fits a bloke.
I knew nothing about this, and no one seems to have known a huge amount about it. And I think I maybe heard about it once before this story broke. So they weren't even doing much sort of by way of pre-airing publicity for it. But the only bad thing about this, apart from the fact that, there are two bad things. Firstly, if this is but given how much shit they've actually released, if it's so bad that they are not going to release this, I really want to watch it to see just how bad it is. And now I'm not going to be able to. But the second thing is apparently Brendan Fraser was going to be in it, and the guy can't catch a break.
Yeah.
I thought that straight away. Poor Brendan.
Also, they've given her the costume when all DC went woke. And I've seen the drawing of this costume. She's got like DMs on, and she yellow DMs instead of proper boots. And it looks like she's just got a jacket and painting on that stupid bat sign. So it's not proper Batgirl. Batgirl is first of all, she's white. Second of all, she's got red hair. Third of all, she's gorgeous. She's got a great body. You know what I mean? And in a skin tight costume.
Well, if you're into
what have they given us here? Sorry,
I was thinking about the costume. It's about as least revealing as you could possibly make it.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, though, they're happy if Cavill shows his muscles and he's without his shirt and he's flying and beating people up without his shirt. But they're not happy when we want to see gorgeous women playing superheroines because that's the way they were predicted in the comics. And if you're going to adapt a comic, that's the way they should be. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And they think they're going to make money out of it by doing this. It's crazy.
Bring back Alicia Silverstone. That's what I say.
Yeah, she was all right.
She was a bit heavy in that film.
Melvin Deeply, if that's a guy, I need to rethink my life. I think we all do, mate, to be fair.
I mean, let's go around. I mean, who do you think should play Batgirl? You know, if you were in charge of Warner Brothers, you were going to make a Batgirl film, who would you cast as Batgirl?
Ruby Rose.
Jordan.
Ruby.
Jordan.
Ruby Rose, my God, what a waste of time that one was, I'll tell you. No, you would cast someone that's like gorgeous, wouldn't you? Someone that has the great shape and, you know, charisma. That's what you would do.
Mm.
You wouldn't cast someone because solely based on their color, would you? And give them a costume like that.
Ticking
it's absolutely ridiculous.
I
would cast.
I was literally about to say Anna de Armas. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's gorgeous.
Channel favorite.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer, she's good looking. Yeah, she'd probably make a good
MC
Batgirl.
In the chats, Michael Keaton was going to be in Batman again, which is a shame. Matt One? Brendan Fraser is the villain. Bummer.
Is that his villain name?
Bummer.
Bummer.
And also, if you're going to make
that'll be
Batgirl,
Obi-Wan, the bummer.
Make sure there's stakes in there. Make sure that she's given a real hard time, and then she has to actually overcome all the obstacles that's in front of her, and then triumph instead of making her totally perfect all the way through the film, which is stupid. So
J.K. Simmons was going to reprise the role of Commissioner Gordon.
He's wrong as Commissioner Gordon anyway.
Totally PJ, wrong. Hello PJ. Black Adam is a villain. I have no interest in watching them making a villain look good. Felt the same with the Joker.
But why?
I don't think they made the Joker look good, did they? His story was a sense of tragedy.
It was.
Yeah, it was more of a this is why he's bad as opposed to some bad people have justifiable cause, I suppose.
But seriously, guys, how could they possibly get this wrong? The whole of the DC universe. How could they possibly got that wrong? You must have total imbeciles running that area of Warner Brothers. Seriously, you've got Superman, you've got Batman, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got
J.J.
the Flash.
Abrams lot, isn't it?
You've got the Flash. Jesus Christ, how could you've got that wrong?
Ezra Miller gone radio silent.
Seriously, they are honestly, they've got to be prime top idiots that are running the DC universe. Seriously,
I think in part of it as well is that they're going for. I mean, I'm a normie as far as comics are concerned, and a lot of these characters would be classed. I would say as more niche than say your main ticket, big build items. Batwoman, Batgirl, She-Hulk, which is, I mean, it just sounds ridiculous as a premise. So you're already sort of struggling to get any kind of distinction which is not vaguely comedic. I mean, Batgirl, it's Batman, but with girls. And in the current climate, you also know what that's going to entail, which is going to be just insufferable gender politic. So they were always up against it with this. But I just really want to watch it because, like Batwoman, I mean, I'm sure it's so bad that it's brilliant. And we won't get
I'm pretty sure if you did a review, you'll get over 1 million.
I know. We should start like a social media campaign. # release Batgirl.
Yeah. Release Batgirl to Lost Chord.
Melvin Deeply, a supervillain called the Bummer would be great. His first fiendish plot was to write Obi-Wan.
But seriously, though, I don't understand how they could have got it so wrong. And it starts off with Zach. That guy had no clue about.
Is he going to come back? Do you think?
I hope not. I hope not, because
really
he is responsible for the crap that we got from Superman. It really was bad, that film, so bad that I almost threw something at the screen when I was in the cinema. It was just ridiculously bad. Yeah.
It wasn't your sister, was it?
No, it wasn't my sister. I think it was a carton of Coke. I think I was going to throw at the screen. I was so, and I remember I went to see Batman.
What, nose powder?
Batman versus Superman. My brother was so excited. He goes, "Oh, Batman!" You know, we got in there watching it halfway through. And my brother was just groaning all the way through the film. He just thought it was just rubbish, and I totally agree with him.
MC in the chat. Warner Discovery has new bosses and they're shaking things up, hence this being shelved.
Yeah, that was the same. That was the thing behind. I think it was the same merger, isn't it? That got rid of CNN Plus when that launched for a week, because Warner Discovery.
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy went in and said, "This is just obviously shit. You can't persuade people to watch it for free, so you're not going to persuade them to pay for it."
Nerdrotic was
he actually wants CNN to be more of a balanced journalist channel, and they want news which reflects both sides of the political spectrum rather than just attacking the right.
Actually be a news organization. That would be
instead
of a propaganda organization.
Nerdrotic was saying about this, the producers or the people running this should go to Ben Affleck and say, "Sorry, we treated you like shit. Will you come and do a Batman movie?" And just do whatever it takes to get Henry Cavill on board. What do you think?
The thing is, though, I think if I was in charge of the DC universe right now, and they said, "Ian, come and save it," first thing I would do is, I'd get Ben Affleck back, I'll get Henry back, and I would disregard everything that Zach had shot and start from scratch again. Ooh. That's what I would do, definitely. Wow. And then I would link everything and have a plan going forward with 7 films in total of the DC universe, and have a plan and take 7 years or even more so, maybe 10 years in completing that plan, just like what Marvel did.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I think that's the logical thing to do.
Fast forward all the way through. Yeah, no, you have to take off a nuke from orbit. I mean, it is the only way to be sure. There hasn't been a single. I cannot think of a good DC EU film. In fact, no, I don't think there has been one.
No, not really. I mean, the DC animated movies are a lot better than anything they've pumped out live action.
I think the only one I really enjoyed was Shazam. I thought that was cute. Shazam.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. That's the only one I enjoyed, because it was comedy and it was for kids, and it was quite entertaining, and and it didn't take itself seriously, and and I love the ending when Superman turns up. It's a shame Henry. It wasn't Henry. Yeah, it's a shame it wasn't Henry, because that would have been the icing on the cake, because that film was very, very entertaining. So yeah.
You're definitely right about reliance on Zack Snyder, though. I mean, I cannot think of a more overrated writer-director. I mean, everything he touches is the same in the first place, and the same as shit. And he has this army of... Well, that's one of the reasons he's not going back, apparently. There's been a lot of bad blood and a lot of internal leaking stories to the press, which is never a particularly good sign. But all stories about a quarter of the Twitter accounts that were pushing the release the Snyder Cut were bots, apparently. And he was sort of stirring this stuff up himself. In the event, we got a 4-hour version of a shit film, which was just the same stuff, but longer and somehow worse. So the guy, every one of his films is the same. It's just, edgy. Let's make it edgy. Let's do lots of slow-mo, lots of black and white. That's a Zack Snyder film. The guy is... ugh.
I agree. If they're going to bring back Batman, I would just, if I was in charge, I'd just go like, "All right, Ben, how much do you want?" Do you know what I mean? Right? Look, here's a page. Write down your idea. There's a computer. take as long as you want. Do you know what I mean? But just make sure it's dark.
Because didn't he wanted to direct? He was going to do a Batman film, wasn't he?
Yes, and you know what? I think the logical thing to do is, because everybody knows Batman's origin, we should focus on Batman of age. Batman now, Batman.
Batman Beyond, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what we need to focus on. Batman is in his 40s now, or 50s now, whatever. That's what we should focus on now, because everything else has been done. They've never done a Batman where he's a lot older and he's a bit creaky. Do you know what I mean? That we should start from that point.
You could say maybe The Dark Knight Rises was.
Yeah, but that wasn't really him being creaky, was it? Really? I mean, he still looked the same as he was in the first and the second one. He didn't have any grey hair or anything like that, and So, but in the Frank Miller ones, the ones where he's quite old, not too old, but old, because Frank Miller did it when he was really old, and the world had changed. But I would go in between that, because they've never done one where maybe he's trying to retire or something. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's what you need. So just give Ben Affleck, do it, Ben. That's it.
I agree. There is an opportunity here to put into production a Batman Beyond movie, which is a very underrated series.
Yes.
Ben Affleck loved playing Batman, didn't he?
But this is what I don't. I mean, I'm going on about Batman. This is what I hate about what Zack did. Right, he gave him small ears. I hated that. He gave him a costume that looked like it was made out of rubber. I hated that. I hated it so much. And I love Ben Affleck, though. I love Ben Affleck, and I like the way they did Alfred as well. I think what's his name, Irons, played a really good Alfred.
Jeremy Irons. If you remember, the fans were in uproar, though, weren't they, about the appointment of Affleck?
I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a really good. He was really good.
Great. I thought it was great. Yeah.
And I like the idea that Alfred isn't,
Batman.
He does have a go at him, and in the comics he's like, "Oh, Master Bruce, here's your food," and all that rubbish. But in this one, Alfred was questioning him, isn't he? What, you're going to sleep all day, and all that stuff. So, it was kind of like a father figure to Bruce, even though they're both of age. So I like that idea. That was a very nice little twist.
It was the only thing about the Batman that even almost worked, was having that sort of antagonistic father relationship with Bruce and Alfred. The rest of that film was just crap. But they've gone backward. They've done angsty teen Batman, and it gave us the Batman, which was just insufferable. You could know. I mean, so like if you take, we've got gritty older superheroes. Logan, for example. Logan has been universally lauded and well received. Yeah. It's an older, more mature story. It's darker. It is grittier. It's sadder. It's more emotionally deep and complex. And it is two characters at the end, basically, or at least one, certainly at the end of their journey. You can do this really well, and it adds real emotional weight. And as you say, with Batman, you've actually got material you can draw on to do that.
Yeah.
The only alternative, I think, is you base a film on the premise that New York has defunded the police, and then Batman.
You could do that. Yeah, exactly. And also, I do like the idea that the Batman's a detective, but in the Batman, he didn't do any detecting at all. So now's the chance to actually
read the plot for Seven. He read the plot for Seven, and that's the most detective.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
The Batman was so predictable.
It was rubbish.
Never seen it. MC in the chat, Logan was amazing. The black and white version is excellent. Yeah, I'd love to see the black and white version.
I'll just turn the colour down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's it.
Would you guys agree that Marvel is on the ropes, and if there's ever a time for DC to step in with the right products and make a proper killing, it's the time, isn't it?
Yeah,
because they could literally give the fans what they're not getting from the bullshit Marvel.
The thing that's annoying about DC is there's no continuity between films, and that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. If it's the DC universe, it should make sense, but it doesn't. You got Black Adam. He's making no contact with Shazam, as far as I know, in the film. No, he wasn't called Shazam, was he? He was called something else. I can't remember. No, he was called Shazam, wasn't it? It wasn't. Yeah. You couldn't do Captain Marvel because that was taken, right? There's no continuity between any of them at all. And if you're going to make a Superman movie, make sure it's all Americano, because that's what Superman stood for. He stood for that. He didn't stand for, dark and depressing, did he? At all.
Superman is like a Top Gun 2 style hero. I mean,
exactly.
Can I throw something in here?
Your dirty laundry.
The Rock.
Yeah.
His production company is obviously making Black Adam. The Rock's wife is she a casting agent or something? And
she's Henry Cavill's agent. She's his agent.
She's both of their agent, which is one of the theories as to why Henry Cavill doesn't get any of the good roles, because she just gives them to him.
I'm going to make an educated guess here. I think The Rock may produce Superman.
Well, I hope so. But the thing is,
though, Black Adam goes well,
they need to get rid of all of this now. They really do, and start again. It's about time they start again. Seriously, all you need is somebody to come out and do a press conference and saying, sorry, we fucked up. Everything we've done so far, we're just going to throw it in a bin. We're going to start again, and then everybody would be like cheering, and everybody would be focused. Everybody like, come on, what are you going to do with Superman? What are you going to do with Batman?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying that's all they need to do, but they're not going to do that. They're scared of hurting people's feelings.
Here you go. I think this one's for you, Ian. Melvin Deeply. It's a shame they freeze out indie filmmakers. They could shake up the world right now if the big studios weren't stepping on them. You'd be making a Superman movie.
I would love.
We need some fresh talent, because the current infestation of wokeism in Hollywood is producing just dog shit title after dog shit title, and I'm just getting sick of it. Everything's just so bland, mediocre, middle of the road, or subverting our expectations.
It's not that good.
And it's just not that good. You're right, absolutely right. Whereas Top Gun and Spider-Man,
made for the fans, made for the
fans, and everybody loves them. So I thought that would have sent a nice, clear message out to everybody of exactly what we want.
It's amazing that the only two films that have made any money this year were essentially, one was a Japanese film, Japanese company financed it, and We Tom.
I think they try. I mean, going back to that thing about Marvel being on the ropes and Disney having this opportunity, I think they thought that's what they were doing when they got Zack Snyder on board. I mean, Marvel is bright, it's cheerful, it's colorful. And I think they looked at Zack Snyder and they thought, this is an opportunity to do something which is thematically and aesthetically very distinct. It's darker, it's more mature, it's more stylized, it's more gritty. Zack Snyder's sort of raison d'etre is to produce these kinds of things. And I genuinely think that's what they thought they were doing when they got him on board. But they sort of combined that with this want to mimic what Marvel then went on to do. In the first place, Zack Snyder is a shit writer and director. But in the second place, they wanted to fast forward to the point where they actually had the equivalent universe to the MCU. So they sort of simultaneously wanted to set themselves apart, but they also wanted just to mimic. And neither of these two things has worked, obviously. And then Marvel's sort of doing the same thing in the sense that, it wants to try and carve a new niche for itself. I think it feels that it's getting stale, but then it brings in people like Taika Waititi, whose idea of different is just funny. And then it still doesn't work. So it's not enough just to say we want different directors or slightly sort of off-color directors. I think you sort of have to go even harder with that. You have to say, no, we actually need new writers and directors, not just people who market themselves as different.
The thing is, though, they're making mistakes. And when they actually did the not Inhumans, what's that stupid one called with the, or is that
Eternals?
Eternals. When they did Eternals, when they did that, they hired this indie filmmaker who had no clue about the product, no clue. Why would you do that? I tell you why they did it. It's because one, she's an Asian woman, and two, she's a woman. That makes no sense. No sense. You wouldn't hire someone like that. Why would you hire Sam Raimi?
Tickety tick.
Yeah. Why would you hire Sam Raimi to direct Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness if you didn't give him full reign? Why would you do that? They're just stupid. All of them are just stupid and stuck in this cult thing. That's why we're getting shit.
Here you go, in. In the chats. This is at you, in. I started watching Elementary. Found it repellent, nice word, initially, but gave it a while as you recommended it. Watched 2 episodes and getting into it now. I'm not a Sherlock fan, but it's not bad.
It isn't bad. The thing I like about it is Johnny Lee Miller. Johnny Lee Miller's version of Sherlock beats, in my opinion, because they never talk about Sherlock when they talk about Sherlock Holmes. It beats the version of Cumberbatch and everyone before it, because his version of Sherlock is really, really well done. The way he performs Sherlock. So, but you know, you've got to watch it to understand what I'm saying. But anyway, whatever.
Z, this article.
Yes.
For the peeps at home, what's it about?
Well, it's about
on the screen.
Yes, David Zaslav coming in. Hold on a second. Give me 1 moment.
Well, I don't want to say yes, I accept. I don't want them to have my cookies. Go away. I'm not going to read it.
Brown, can you screen share it?
Doing it now. Here we go.
Possibly. If my computer blows up, folks, I do apologise.
Z's done the work for you.
Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Why do they want our cookies? They keep wanting our cookies. I like cookies.
Z, what's this then, please?
Well, David Zaslav's coming in, and he's going to do a major shake-up about with Warner Brothers and all its different departments, and really much from the tearing it apart and rebuilding it from the ground up.
All right, okay, so that sounds like a proper hatchet job then.
Yeah, and this was on the 28th of July, and then 4 days later, you've got Batwoman cancelled, or Batgirl. Sorry.
Okay.
I just hope he's got a lot of brains and basically he's doing the right thing.
Well, he got rid of CNN paid channel.
Yeah, he did. Well, just skimming through that article is obviously from Bloomberg, and Bloomberg has already taken issue with the fact that in streamlining, he's got rid of a few diversity hires and has replaced them with a smaller team of exclusively white male directors.
Excellent.
Apparently. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But as I said, it's in the chat, folks. So if you want to read that at your leisure, I pasted it in the chat. So
now I don't know why this is such an issue with the whole diversity thing. Surely it doesn't matter if you're male or female or trans, white, black, or orange. It's the best person for the job.
Yep.
Not a tick box. So,
hiring on merit. How controversial, Z.
I know, right? Meritocracy and all that.
But, there's some fascinating details in this, just going through it. The usual suspects in the Democratic Party actually complained about this merger when it was first mooted. So Elizabeth Warren and the aptly named Joaquin Castro. They apparently didn't like the idea of the merger because Discovery only had 30% of its on-screen talent as people of color. Apparently, that's a problem. That's the lowest share of any major media company. And that is, of course, not allowed, even though I think it is still just about higher than the actual overall demographic split of the United States, and certainly is of this country. But no, sort of like, as you say, the whole point ought to be this is who is best for the job. In the first place, smaller teams, probably for the best, because if you have these proliferating writing, directing, administrative teams, it just adds money and does not add quality. And then in the second place, if you are going to start shrinking that team down, you're going to have to be much more exclusive with your hiring policies. If you've got a whole generation of people who've had the best education and the best experience, they are disproportionately going to be white men. You are probably going to find overrepresentation at some point. But the question, as you say, is, are they the best people for the job at the given time? Can they bring up people underneath them and they can train them up to take on those roles in future and therefore expand diversity with quality? Yeah, I'm sure they could do that. But that seems like the best way of doing things, and not just saying, well, we need an arbitrary target of 40% of women on the board, no matter who those women happen to be. That's just nonsense.
Absolutely.
Complete nonsense.
That doesn't take into consideration the percentage of male to females in terms of who actually wants to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, if you're in charge of Fox or whatever, and you're in charge of the whole thing, why not create a section for people of color and say, right, I want some dramas from you guys. There you go. There's a room. You're the top people of color that writes TV shows. There you go. There's your room. Create stuff for me. Good stuff. Why not do that? And same thing with women as well. Why just give them their own section? Do you know what I mean? Why go and rip off?
It's not inclusive. I don't know.
Kind of.
That is very inclusive. That's very diverse. If you do that, why won't you do that?
The only problem with that is that Marvel Comics has tried to do that, and Marvel Comics now has
like apartheid.
Like apartheid.
Well, let's see. Very good, very good.
But no, Marvel Comics has it has the LGBT version of the comic, it has the trans version of the comic, it has the BIPOC version of the comic, and they're the ones who are producing stuff like, oh, Superman is gay now.
No. What I'm saying is that give them their section. They're not allowed to touch established things.
Oh, yeah,
give them their own section. Yeah, give them own section. Say, right, you're LBG, whatever, right? You're gay, whatever, right? Whatever. Create something that will last beyond your life. Go ahead. Here, I give you the money. Go and do it now.
Rebecca Black.
You know and so, what I'm saying is that you please both camps. They can't have a go at you if you've given them their own platform, and if they fail at it, there's no excuse, right?
I think the rule about not touching past characters is a really good, useful one as well. Because as soon as you say you can't, then actually that would help across the board. It's not even just minority producers, but all those films that just they exist for the cameo appearance, and the cameo is advertised in order to get you into the cinema or to get you to read the thing. If you say, you're not allowed to do that, even you have to create something new, and you cannot rely on the work done by better people than you.
Exactly.
You'll have fewer things coming out, but they will probably be better in the long run.
Exactly. They'll be better, but also you'll be pleasing both camps. I don't understand it. It's so simple. The answer is so simple. Why don't they do that?
Of pleasing both. Speaking of pleasing both camps, in the chat, Black Day and Rebecca Gay.
Well, as I said, right,
noted.
I decided to create a gay character, and she happens to be an assassin. But I swear, my show does not focus on her sexuality at all, or does not make that the main thing of the show. So. Anyway,
I'm sure in season 2 it will, though. Okay, so
they can still find a way to get you in trouble with that. For example, I can't remember what the thing was. There was something a while ago. It had a main character who was bisexual, who was also, it might have been, it wasn't Game of Thrones. It was something like that. Main character was a bisexual, and I think an assassin as well. And then someone decided that bisexual people being devious is a stereotype and racist against the bi people, and so you're not allowed to do that either. They will always find a way.
Yeah, but you have to basically ignore that stuff if you really want diversity and equality in TV and the media. That's what you should do, right? You're going to have idiots that come out to woodwork anyway, but as long as you're doing something that's right, and I believe if I was in charge, that would be the right thing to do, instead of actually destroying characters that have been beloved for years.
I will say to anybody at Warner Discovery who I know you're watching, Ian is available.
Yeah, right.
Ian is available. He will sell out for you with pleasure. It'll be cheaper as well.
There's nothing wrong with having a gay romance. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But just don't rip off other characters and destroy years of what people have built. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, the Brokeback Mountain, very famous.
Yeah, it was a good
very well received. Very good story. But something new again. So it's,
exactly. It's and also that they had the right director to direct that. The guy wasn't gay, and he wasn't even English or American, but he did a really good job on that film, even though it was uncomfortable for me to watch when two men were kissing. But that's just me, right? But I'm just saying, I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was well directed, and did it not win awards as well?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, so that's the right thing to do. Absolutely. But anyway, whatever. They ain't going to be listening to us, are they?
Well, they'll be watching this stream, so you never know. Obviously,
Batgirl thing cancelled. You've got everybody going, well, it's still the Snyderverse. How about we don't?
Yeah. Just
put that one to bed. I don't want him back.
It's obviously he didn't know what he was doing. It's pretty obvious. Everybody knows what Batman should be and Superman should be, and he just fucked it up big time, didn't he? Let's face it.
Speaking of Superman, I thought we'd finish on this because it's 10 years. Can you believe 10 years since this was out?
That's not to be celebrated, though.
2013.
Oh, was it? Okay, 9 years. Nearly 10 years.
But the thing is that's not to be celebrated. That film was truly awful.
It was not.
It really was. The only good thing about it was Henry.
Yeah, Sorry. He was. No, I was just saying. I always forget. Is Man of Steel? Morpheus is in it, and there's some weird gravity thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I always. Oh, that's not a memorable film.
Perry White became Perry Black in the film. So there you go.
It badly missed the Williams soundtrack.
Exactly. And why did they give him some kind of disco Superman costume? So crap.
And they off Jimmy Olsen.
They did, yeah.
What a waste. Superman's pal.
See, the first thing you got to deal, if you're going to make a Superman movie, the first thing you got to deal with, is to figure out why they don't know Clark Kent is Superman. That's the first. And once you figure that out, you can go full steam ahead in making a good movie, because that's the one thing they can never solve. Henry Cavill looks like Superman, yet nobody mentions it in the film. So there's got to be a reason. You solve that.
Cavill can't play the Clark Kent role the same way as
You're right.
Christopher Reeve. He doesn't have that. He's too much of an alpha bro.
Yeah.
To get that. But I don't know. I think Cavill looks brilliant. I think his voice is brilliant. But to me, he just doesn't have the personality to carry it, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. You're totally right. Also, I missed the little curl on his head. Superman used to have the little curl on his head.
And his underpants.
And his underpants as well. I missed that too. Yeah.
It's the only thing I'll even slightly praise Zack Snyder's Justice League for is there are only two ways I think you can do Superman. You can make him the all-American hero, which he sort of has to be. He is the embodiment of patriotism. It's what he's designed to be. But if you're not going to do that, the only way I think you can do anything with him that makes him really interesting as a character is to make him evil. So what happens if this all-powerful god turns against you? And the nightmare sequence in the Snyder Cut, there were certain things about it which sort of that you could see an idea somewhere in there which might have been half decent, but it's again testament to how wasted that film was. Taking that idea with so much potential, it still managed not to deliver on any of it. But an evil Superman is not a bad idea to take forward.
It's like I keep saying to everyone, right? When I was watching this film, two things I really wanted to happen in that movie. One was to see more of young Clark Kent, because that was so interesting when he couldn't control his powers. And he was in the cupboard and stuff like, and his mother was trying to coax him out. I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the flying stuff. If you're going to have the man fly fast and the speed of light every shot, there's no point even having him in the costume and flying him on wires. The best thing about Christopher Reeve's one was that when he flew, you can see him flying. You can appreciate that man can fly. With this one, it's no point. It's just a CGI person flying in the sky. It's ridiculous. But anyway, those are the two things. Well, the two minor things. Everything else was shit. So there you go. Yeah.
Did anyone watch it in 3D in the cinema?
No.
I did, and at the end of it, my head was absolutely spinning. It's like, because a lot of kind of cartoony type CG, in a very bad way, which took I actually enjoyed it more watching it again on the DVD / Blu-ray, but watching it in 3D, God almighty.
I think I vaguely remember going to see it at the IMAX, but it was one of those ones where there were on-screen prompts for when to put the glasses on and when to take them off. There's absolutely no way you can invest in a film if you're constantly looking to the bottom corner of the screen to know when you're supposed to put some stupid glasses on.
Melvin Deeply is the problem with Henry Cavill. When he does the American accents, he sounds like Zap Brannigan from Futurama. In Man from U.N.C.L.E. plus Superman, he sounds the same. I struggle taking him seriously.
He doesn't have any depth performance wise, but he is really good looking, and the women love him. and that's good enough to actually have him back as Superman. But all you need is a really good director to point him in the right direction and a good screenwriter so that we can care about this character.
You could
That's
do
all we
both,
need.
couldn't you?
If Warner Brothers watching, yeah, I'll take the job. But as I said, the first thing I would do is give him some underpants, put his curl back, make sure it's an Americana film, where he waves the flag and all that, because that's what Superman stands for.
Do you think the 9 years of elapsed acting time where he's learnt his craft could make him a better Superman?
Well, maybe. No,
I don't think so. I think he's
flat, isn't he?
Wood, I'm afraid
Yeah,
so. And I hate saying that because I really like the guy,
Yeah,
even in his
same here.
interviews and stuff. But I just don't think he's got that charisma.
Hmm.
I mean, Ian would probably know better than me. Maybe there is someone who could pull a performance out of
Yeah,
it. But I don't feel it.
any suggestions? I'll throw it open to the chat. Guys in the chats, who do you think could do Superman? Play Superman?
Play Superman.
Yeah, if it wasn't
You know what?
Cavill.
I saw. Okay, right. So I saw a trailer for Egerton, whatever his name is, that guy that was in the
Joel Edgerton.
yeah, him.
Aaron.
So he's in this film. I think it's it's Apple TV that's made it, and he plays this guy that has to go into jail to persuade a serial killer to confess that he's killed loads of women. That's the premise. And he's grown up now. He could play Bond, that fella. He can play Superman, that fella. Have you seen him lately? What he looks like now? Guys, try and
Who's
watch
that
that
again?
trailer. Egerton, he was in
Oh, do you mean the younger?
I think it's
the younger
Taron.
brother,
Isn't
or the
Joel
older?
Egerton the one who Z has pleasure with?
Him who was in Kingsman.
Yeah, I
There's-
think it's the same guy.
Yeah,
There's
he's
two. I
great.
think there's two. I think
Taron.
one's one's Uncle
Taron.
Owen. The other one is. God.
Well, if you see that trailer, I can't remember what it's called.
Joel and Taron. Or
All right.
Taron is the younger one from Kingsman. Joel Egerton is Uncle Owen.
All right, so him, might be him, I'm not sure, but they both look the same as far as I'm concerned. But that guy, he could play Bond, he could play Superman. Seriously, he does look the part. But if you look at the trailer, yeah.
Matty, Blackbird, is that the show?
Yes, that is yeah, that's it. That's the show.
MC Taron Egerton.
Yeah. He's
So
right.
is he the older one?
He's the younger one.
Oh,
He's
the
the one
younger
in
one.
Kingsman Secret Service.
Right. So
Are they brothers?
I assume.
No, I think I've made an arse of that.
It's Joel Edgerton and it is Taron Egerton. No, they're not, unless they have really similar names.
Because
Yeah.
MC asks the question and I can say no. They're not.
But if you see that trailer, you'll know what I mean. The guy is quite a good looking fella, and he's English, right? So that could be quite cool. But anyway,
I think he's got Kingsman 3 coming up.
is he? Okay.
Sorry, forgive me. His Joel Egerton's brother is Nash Egerton. Forgive me.
All right.
The Kingsman is another one of those things that's doing James Bond better than James Bond is these days.
Well, Mission Impossible is doing better than James Bond
Also
as well.
that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, him, I would choose him if I had the choice. I mean, the thing is, I still go for Henry because Henry, as I said,
The crowd pleaser for the ladies,
Yeah.
isn't it? That's the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wookiee Fever 1969 Cavill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, given everyone wants Henry Cavill, that almost guarantees that The Rock will be the next Superman.
Yeah.
Do you think they kind of owe him a film because they've
No,
just
they don't care about him.
Mm.
They don't give a shit about him. Why would
But he's
would
one of the
they?
most. He's one of the most bankable actors at the moment, and they've just
No, they don't see it that way, do they?
they've done absolutely nothing with him.
It's because they're stupid. That's why. No.
At least he got a film, unlike Batman. What's his name?
Yeah. Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. That's the one.
It was so ludicrous, wasn't it? That that Superman versus Batman, he was running, right, and in the film it was like all dark, and then when you see the sequel, he's running and it's daytime. And you're like, well, didn't they not watch the previous film? So that's how stupid it was. Nobody was paying attention or anything.
There you go, Melvin. I think if they want to make money, they should stick with Cavill. Yeah.
I sort of put Batman v Superman on a par with Godzilla versus King Kong,
Exactly.
or any of the MonsterVerse films.
I liked it.
Yeah. Why?
It was terrible.
I'm just easily pleased, probably.
No, you can't look. This is the thing, right?
Martha!
If you like this film, that means you have no idea about construction of a script or what.
Have I ever said I have?
I'm just saying, right? Because there's no
He's
way.
picking on me, folks.
No, I'm just saying. There's no way you could ignore the fact
I
that
know
Superman
nothing.
stops Batman. He crashes his Batmobile, tells him some crap, and flies off.
Yeah, and I loved every minute of it.
After the whole film, he's going, he should be behind bars and stuff like that. Why didn't Superman
picking
pick
on
up
me,
Batman
folks,
and take him to jail? He didn't do that. It was ridiculous. Well, why did he?
Last time he comes on here, folks, he's picking on me.
Did you like Godzilla King of the Monsters?
No.
Now that I turned that off, I just thought this is fucking shite. Turned it off.
It's very stupid.
Same film.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, but it didn't have King Kong going, Martha.
Yeah.
Why did you say that name?
It was so bad. It was so bad. And also, oh my God, the worst Lex Luthor in the entire history of Superman.
That says a lot considering Spacey was fucking Lex Luthor.
Very problematic nowadays. I know who's got my back. Thank you, Andy. I liked it, so fuck them all. Yes, thank you, Andy. Fuck them all. Yes.
But isn't it the law of the channel that Andy's standard is to fuck them all anyway?
Exactly.
Breathing, non-breathing is there.
It was absolute nonsense. It really was. Superman versus Batman. It was absolute nonsense. The script didn't work. Didn't make any sense.
That's probably why I liked
rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
It looked good though.
Doesn't matter if it looked good. The story didn't make any sense. God, what is wrong with people these days? Seriously.
MC, I liked it too. Yeah, thanks, MC. He calls himself a director. He knows fuck all. he's just a grifter. It's the mega grifter, folks.
Well, as I said, if you can't see the fault in that film, then there's nothing I can say, really. Let's face it.
We haven't done this yet. Do you know what else looked really pretty?
What's that?
It's the throne room scene in The Last Jedi. Everything has to go back to it at some point.
Exactly.
Also, the whole movie, but that looked really pretty.
Also, Cavill's cape was far too long, wasn't it? I just kept wondering why he didn't trip over the damn thing. It was just too long. It was ridiculous in that film as well. Oh, just seriously, it was so much wrong with this movie, and so much wrong with the sequel to it as well. It's just
according to in the chat, it's not just his cape that's too long. Just putting that up there.
I saw that, but I was being polite. When I went to see Man of Steel, I was genuinely looking forward to it. Genuinely.
Everyone was.
You finish work, you go to the gym, then you go to, after the gym, you go to the cinema to be entertained. And first 5-10 minutes, I thought, what's his name? Russell. Is it Russell Crowe's? Yeah. I was watching it. I just thought.
I was watching Lord of the Rings.
He can't even. I thought the acting was appalling. It just took me out of the film completely, and I just thought it was so bad. The only thing what I did like was, again, what you said, Ian, the kind of backstory when he was growing up. Fucking loved that. Right. That was the highlight. And then I don't know about you guys, but the building smashing last act. Yeah.
Well, the careless disregard for Metropolis and citizens.
Also,
not for me.
So everybody knows in the history of Superman's father died of a heart attack. And he says that famous line
that was a bit
in comics. He says, with all my powers, I couldn't even save my father. Right? He says that in the comics, but also says it in the Donna version as well. In this, he gets sucked up.
No.
It's so shit. I was just sitting there going, that's not how he died. You know what I mean? No respect.
such a vital part of his development.
Exactly.
One thing that he could not save him, rather than just say, "I'm not going to bother saving him."
In the chat, I would like to see a Superman movie where he saves the world from the woke. Was it say villain could be any of the wokey folk? And then Melvin says, we've said this before, but it's a good, the bummer could be the villain.
Yeah.
And then the third film, you could have him turning evil and going woke and dyeing his hair purple.
I mean, there were some nice bits in the film. I did like Zod's reasoning for what he wanted to do. I liked that. I thought that was that.
Zod was
at least
good.
He had a reason. Yeah, at least he had a reason why he was doing that. But the whole aspect of Superman's origin and don't even talk to me about Lois Lane. They cast someone that was, oh, Jesus Christ. Isn't Lois Lane meant to be a looker, for Christ's sakes? Who do they cast?
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams?
Yeah, she's quite nice.
No. First of all, Lois Lane has dark hair. Why has she got red hair? Second of all, Jimmy Olsen has red hair. Why is they never portrayed Jimmy Olsen as a redhead boy ever in the history of Superman movies? Anyway, whatever. So there was a lot of things wrong with this film. Seriously.
If you was to remake that film
from Superman and Lois, shouldn't they?
Yes.
Well,
That's
I guess.
Very well done series.
In the chat, says Red Letter Media called it Captain Killer versus Murder Man.
Just on the Superman and Lois thing, I've not seen it, so I don't know much about it. But obviously, with Daredevil, they're slowly bringing the Daredevil from the Netflix, I think, series into the MCU proper. Could you see a place for the Superman from Superman and Lois, or the Superman and Lois from Superman and Lois, taking Henry Cavill's place?
No, because Rennie says he's fugly, so no.
He is.
Tyler Hoechlin really needs to shave more.
Yeah, he does, and that's the thing. You see that even though I thought I only saw season 1, even though I thought it was good, I still think Superman should be portrayed as Superman, as the classic Superman. You know, don't try and polish it up. Don't try and change it. Because Superman is Superman, right? And everyone, even my nieces know Superman as Superman, not as this version of Superman at all. Why was the first thing they got rid of was his pants? What is the problem with him wearing red pants? Somebody tell me.
I think it comes from the idea that the original Superman design came from the old-fashioned strongman.
Doesn't matter though.
The underpants, so they decided they're going to update it.
But that's not a good reason to get rid of it, is it?
Isn't it? They're iconic as much as they're ridiculed.
Exactly.
But that was the reason for it.
Well, they did the opposite with Captain America, didn't they? I mean, they did in the first Avengers film. They actually gave him the old-fashioned uniform precisely because it was a callback to a happier, stronger, more conventional time. So
they gave him the old costume when he was prancing around on stage, but when he was actually in war, they made the costume a reason for him to wear it, didn't they? Remember that the helmet was like a real helmet, wasn't it? And he had like a bulletproof thing on, even though he had the Captain America stars and stripes on it. So it was an all-purpose suit that Tony Stark's dad built for him.
Yeah.
But when he was on stage, it was like the comics, wasn't it? It was spandex.
Yeah.
So
in the chats, Melvin, they're talking about Bruce Campbell, saying that he would have made an interesting choice for Superman back in the day.
What about
He's got
Nick
the
Cage?
perfect chin.
What about Nick Cage? When they were going to do that one? That was weird. Oh my God. Nick Cage is Superman.
I can't believe with this channel's fascination with good-looking women, no one's mentioned Aunt Jay Troy, who played the female villain in Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous.
Oh.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yes. She was also in a horror film as well.
The sci-fi one?
Yeah, Pandorum.
Yes, Pandorum, yeah, she was in that.
Yeah.
Fit. Okay.
I mean, all that stuff was quite enjoyable, wasn't it? When the planes were there and they were attacking them, and he was fighting Non and Zod, and that was all very enjoyable. But that's what I'm saying. It was just
Just no cigar, was it? Just
no. Didn't care about anyone. That's the problem.
Andy Mouse. So would I, mate. Okay, so we'll finish off, guys. So in terms of the DC stuff, what do you think's going to be happening then with the DC? What should Warner be doing? Mega Geek? What do you think they should do?
Reboot. They should reboot everything. They should stop the Flash movie. They should stop everything dead. Bring back Henry. Bring back Ben. Bring back Gal Gadot, because they were really good. Forget about Aquaman. He was a waste of freaking time, even though you should bring it back because girls love him, I guess.
Yeah.
And get rid of the guy who plays Flash. Maybe
Christopher Miller.
Yeah.
I think he got rid of himself.
But cast the guy that's in the TV show, because he was a perfect Flash as far as even though that show went woke, but cast him. Do you know what I mean? Just rebuild and make sure everything makes sense. Have a plan. Have a 7-year plan.
PJ, burn it all down yet. Z, how would you approach it? What would you do if you was in charge?
I would keep Affleck, Cavill, and Gal Gadot. Recast everybody else. I don't know about Aquaman. The film was
I like
okay.
Aquaman. Yeah, I like
it.
Aquaman.
It was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. But if you're going to do it, I would expand the whole Justice League and do individual movies. I'd like to see a proper Green Lantern movie.
That'd be great.
I watched the animated DC Universe movie, which was exploring John Stewart, who was the Black Green Lantern. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And they should really be bringing in new characters like that. Martian Manhunter, it was nice to see him in the Snyder Cut, but to be quite honest, is not a character I'd like to see again.
Didn't make any sense either, because that he was the general, wasn't he, in the film, and he was all against Superman, and suddenly he was like, he's the Martian. I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
And perhaps explore some other characters that they've not really tapped into. I mean, a Green Arrow on the big screen would work for me.
Yes,
because I quite love the character, and to do a Green Arrow Green Lantern team up would be absolutely amazing.
But you know what though, I would go with Hal first. I think it's pointless going with the one that came after Hal, because you're disrespecting the history of Green Lantern. So I'd go with Hal first, and then if the movie's successful, bring in the ones that were spin-offs of Hal, if you know what I mean. So that's
exactly right, and kill Guy Gardner.
I always remember being massively disappointed with the Green Lantern
film, because again, you got someone
massively
comics.
Disappointed with that, because that could have just been incredible.
I thought he was all right as the Green Lantern, though. What's his name? But the script was terrible.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds.
I thought he was okay.
Bond director, wasn't it? Was it Martin Campbell?
Martin Campbell,
Brian, what would you do?
Most important thing for me would be to leave Joker film 2019 completely out of it. I think it's so good that it deserves to be on a little pedestal on its own, away from everything. I know they were talking about possibly bringing him in to do a second film. I think that's a bad idea. I don't think you should cross them over.
Agree with you.
Pretty much go back to basics, even if it means recasting. Although I'd be quite happy to see Affleck and Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill back in.
Yeah,
one of the things I'd like to see is the sort of restoration of both of the original scores in Superman and the score from Batman.
Yes.
I think they've become so integral to those films. I think it'd be a nice touch to bring that back. But an overall plan has to be as a must. Why they haven't done that, it's anyone's guess. I think they kind of suck it and see. They've done that for long enough. I think it's time to get a proper plan laid out for the next 5-10 years.
Here you go, Melvin. I think they should abandon Justice League because half the characters are pointless. Stick with Batman, Superman, and put more work into the baddies and the scripts. It's too convoluted to be good.
In fairness, they haven't done the villains justice.
No, they haven't.
No.
Somebody could explore. I'd agree with that.
Lord, what would you do?
nuke it from orbit to be sure.
The only way,
And then,
the only way to be sure, yes.
It is. And controversially, don't bring it back. I think that there are a couple of major problems that DC has. In the first place, they are way too late into the game, and we have superhero saturation as it is. Yeah. But I think more importantly than that, I genuinely don't think they have as compelling a slate of characters that they could make films with anyway, or that make for good films that normies as well as comic book fans could enjoy. So with the exception of Batman, and I have problems with Superman as well, but with the exception of Batman and Superman, you have way too many characters in DC who have these world-breaking powers. It's the same thing with, the MCU has this problem with Captain Marvel. People like the Green Lantern, because it's kind of a soft magic thing, there's nothing that actually underpins it. It's very difficult to construct a continuous universe in cinema without introducing so much that the laws make no sense. And I'm aware that they've done this with the comics. I'm not aware of how well that went. I know some people really like it. But the only characters I can find compelling as a semi-normie when it comes to comics are the more human characters. So like Batman, for example. Batman, though, is the only standout one because people like Green Arrow already have close-ish analogies with Hawkeye. We've already got those characters. Marvel sort of co-opted that share of the market. I just don't really see any way they can do anything anymore, with the exception of the occasional standalone Batman, Joker, Superman film. I just think give up on the extended universe thing. We've got way too many superhero movies. They're all going stale, and you don't have enough characters to make it work.
Totally correct. Right. I think that's it. Chat, wonderful as always. Totally the last minute. Always great to see you popping in, boys. Cheers for the interaction. Wonderful as always. I'll thank the guests from the bottom of my screen upwards. The Mega Geek, Mr. Ian David Diaz. Thank you.
No worries, guys. No worries.
Warner's, he is available, by the way. Z, cheers, pal.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Not Brian Young. Thank you.
Thanks, Brun. Thanks to my fellow panelists, and thanks to the chat again.
Yeah,
we're nothing without the chat.
Oh, well,
I will say that we are nothing without the chat. Thank you, boys. And last but by no means least, Lord Chord. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, as always.
I think we're back on Saturday, folks. I think we're doing James Bond, Roger Moore, For Your Eyes Only. I need to sort the slides out, but I think that's the next thing coming up. Sunday night, we'll be doing the Musings again. We won't be covering this because we're doing it tonight. So I think that is it, folks. Stay safe. See you next time. Good night.
Bye.